Are you into chubby chicks? Do you like your girls thick? And I'm talking thick with 2 C's. Well, then you came to the right place today, boys, because I've got a chess piece for you. I'm doing the Venus of Willendorf. Okay, so juvenile humor aside, Venus of Willendorf is a little figurine. It's called a fertility goddess, is what it's known as. It was discovered in Austria, I think 1908 is what I remember reading, something like that. Just outside of a village called Willendorf, which is hence the name. They call it a Venus figure because they believe that it was used as a fertility goddess because she has exaggerated features of the boobs and the hips and everything. Things that relate to fertility. So anyway, I've always been drawn to these. There's a lot of different types. This one probably being the most recognizable, and I thought it would make a really cool build for the chess piece. So not sure how this one is going to go. So let's just dive right into it. So my first step, I'm working with 1¼ inch square bar, by the way. And I'm just getting into my spring fuller here. I want to create the head. Okay, so far things are not going very well, but I'm sure they'll get better. Okay, so I had too much material there after I got in with the fullers there, and I figured it would do that. I couldn't get it close enough to the end. So now I've chopped a chunk off here, as you can see, just coming off. That piece coming off there. Now I think I've got the right amount of mass up here. It's just shaping that into the head now is going to be interesting. Okay, so I am 45 minutes into this, and I really haven't made a whole lot of progress at all. I've cut the head off, or shaved off meat off the head twice now, trying to figure out proportions, trying to figure out a strategy. This is actually a very deceptively awkward shape to do. It's hard to get in. I'm just pushing in, like it's basically a spherical like shape, but to try to push in the detail, not working in any of my conventional strategies here. So I think I'm going to move to the vise now and just start pushing some steel in, try to just start pushing it in with my flat chisel and just go from there. So let's try that. Okay, so I'm deep into the process right now. This, not gonna lie to you, is not going nearly as well as I had hoped. But I'm not too surprised. Basically, the original sculpture, which was made, they say, about 30,000 years ago, which is pretty amazing, and probably why I'm drawn to it. I think, this reaches way back into history. One of the first pieces of artwork that we were finding from our past, and it would have been made it was carved out of a piece of limestone, so it would have been carved out using stone tools. It was Stone Age, and I'm finding I need to almost come in at this in the same subtractive style of sculpture, where I'm actually chasing and using the chisel to actually take pieces and chip them out, much as if I was carving stone or wood, which is quite a different tactic for me. I don't really do that very much. So that's kind of what I've resorted to be able to get to these shapes, because they're all kind of tucked into this one big kind of spherical sort of shape. So very difficult to get in and get the access to it. But I think I am making some progress now. It seems to be taking shape. It's just going to take me a little while to do and see how long my patience holds out and how much detail I actually get into this thing before I just give up on it. But still got some enthusiasm for it, so let's just see how this all plays out. I'll check back with you a little later. Okay, so I want to bend her. I need to quench her head. I just want to get a little bit of arch in the back here. And move the head back a little bit without cutting it off. I'm using a wooden mallet. See if I can get a little bit of curvature. I don't know, I think I might have. Her head moved back more than anything else. All right, back to the carving. Okay, things don't always go the way I want them to go. So I'm back a couple days later here. The other day I was working on this after we had finished off with the camera, and the head popped off. So I knew I'd kind of undercut there quite a bit, and with all the work and the force I was doing down here, I was sending harmonic vibrations through there. Anyway, broke off the head. My intent on this was to go old school on it because it's such a prehistoric thing. I wanted to just do it as primitively as possible without using grinding and welding and stuff like that. But after the head broke off, it's like, you know what, screw it. I had some issues here, so I went in with the MIG welder. There was some hollows in her butt, and I felt she needed a little more junk in the trunk there. So I went in with the MIG and I just kind of filled those hollows also in the hips there, and then hammered that down and stuff. So I've got the shape, it's coming together okay, but I'm also realizing this is a really difficult shape to do. The original sculpture was made by subtractive sculpting, where you're carving down to size. Doing it with the forging, where you're trying to shove it in and just kind of chasing out pieces with the chisel and trying to get it. Pretty tricky, and trying to keep the proportions right, almost impossible. So like her boobs are too small actually. Where I've got the arms perched up on top of them there, they should be down a little farther. She should have much more abundant bosamage there, but that's what we've got. And I've gotten to the point where it's like, you know what, I've got to move on with my life here. So what I'm going to do is go over to the MIG welder, get this thing welded on, and actually while I'm at it, fill in these side cavities here. And then I want to do some sort of, I think I'm going to take the bird's eye punch and try to do the hair motif a little bit on there, and then we'll just finish off. But I need to get this thing done. Really, if I was going to do it right, I would start totally from scratch again, but I've already got probably about 5 or 6 hours into this thing, and you know, we need to move forward. So I'll be back in a moment. Just spend a little time with my MIG. Okay, so I'm coming in under the knee now, and I don't know if you can see my photograph there. I've got to kind of split it away, so it's just getting in here. All right, so I started out with high hopes on this one, but was not to be. All my hopes and dreams were dashed, if I can quote a famous Austrian son of a bitch. So things kind of fell apart for me a bunch of ways on this one. First off, it's too long. The head came out kind of funny shaped, and it just everything, the boobs should be down farther, the arm should be out, there should be more shape in there. I just found the whole approach to this one was kind of caught me off guard. It was a lot more difficult to try to get this sort of shape using a forge type process, but all things considered, I guess it's not horrible. It has a nice I don't know, fertility goddess sort of look to it. Doesn't quite look like the original Venus of Willendorf, but I think it looks okay. I'm gonna have to, I guess, admit defeat and say that I was out sculpted by some knuckle dragging cave person from 30,000 years ago. So that's a little bit humbling. Of course, I didn't have as much time on my hands as perhaps that person did. So anyway, we'll add this to the set. This will be our first queen. I have an idea for the other queen. So please subscribe. Stay tuned for upcoming videos. We got lots going on here. So I will see you in the future. Thak out. See ya!